What's going on, all you Facebook and YouTube live fishing freaks? Welcome back to another episode of On Another Line Live. Joined again by the co-host now, Mr. J.R. White.
Good afternoon, all those out there in TV land.
That's right. Andrew Six in the house. What's up, buddy? We are going to get started right after this short intro. Let's do it.
Gotta get your arms way up in a cast and set the hook on smallmouth bass, and then you'll understand. Gotta get your hands on a Shimano reel and a G-Loom is right. I bet you like what you feel. Step on the deck, give it a whirl. Hello, welcome to my world.
And we're back again. Another live episodes here. Also, be sure you share this feed out to all your friends and bug them to death and be like, hey, there's a mediocre fishing show on YouTube and Facebook. You should check it out.
Hosted by mediocre fishermen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hosted by less than mediocre fishermen. It's just, we're learning. Anyway, with that being said, welcome to another episode. We're going to talk about, why fall fishing sucks. I want to show you guys some new baits that JR's got. Talk about some baits that we throw. But I think, number one, I think we need, without further ado, have a little bit of an announcement we need to make. Was just accepted to the Picasso Lures Pro Staff for the 2024 fishing season. So be looking out for a lot of cool reviews and stuff. Picasso has some really cool baits. I'll be the first to tell you, they're pretty expensive, a lot of them. A lot of their jigs are tungsten, so that's why it drives the price up a little bit. They have some really cool baits. We're going to show you a couple of them today, like the Shockwave or Shock Blade, sorry, and then they have some really cool spinner baits and stuff. So I got to try to find a new spinner bait to replace Greg Drowns. Hopefully Greg Drowns still makes them and I can still buy them from him, but we got to find a spot. I like the Shimano Dune, which I'm going to show you guys today also, but got to find something. But we are part of the Picasso Lures Pro Staff, and we are really excited about that.
Yeah, I really love their jigs. I mean, I know it's a lot of people don't want to throw tungsten because the extra expense, but to me, a lead jig is $5 now. Tungsten jig is normally $6.5, $7. So to feel that much more, I'm going to pay for the tungsten personally.
Yeah, what's up, Larry? How you doing, buddy? I was just having a conversation about you. It was all terrible, by the way. I was running you under the bus. Said no one ever. But I was talking to Chris Stender, who I assume maybe still works with you guys, but also has his own shop. But we are going to be partnering up with him with my students here soon. That he's actually sent me some designs that we're having my students design for him, which is really cool. C and N, where did that go? Oh, I put it up. JR put it down. I put it up. JR put it down. Yeah, we got to get going on there. C&M Baits makes killer spinner baits. Check them out. I'm on the pro staff. They're great to work with. So they're down from around your area, Brandon. I assume down in the Maysville area. Sorry guys, I'm getting blown up here. Another quick thing, if you guys are looking for something to do, and this has nothing to do with fishing, but I can jab plugs in whenever I can. Love and Theft, who you may or may not know, is a country band that's been out for quite a while. They've had a really good, pretty good run of good songs like Runaway, Angel Eyes. You should check them out. But they're having a Bombshells and Nails Street Fest this Saturday. I think the bands start at 4:00, and I go on myself at 5. And then we are going to be playing for 45 minutes. It's all free show. Come out, grab some food. They will be serving adult beverages there on the street. I'm not sure about seating. I would assume that it's probably like a standing room only or maybe a lawn chair thing. I'll have to figure that out. But if you guys have don't have anything to do on Saturday, come out and check it out. The following weekend is probably my second biggest gig I've ever landed in my life. First one being opening up for Clay Walker in January, and then now opening up for the Foxfire Music and Arts Festival on the river. Names like Elle King, You're going to have Tanner Ursery there. Larry Fleet. There's a ton of people there. I'm pretty excited. CNN Custom Baits, Maysville, Kentucky.
That's where I'm headed to this weekend, actually.
Sorry about your luck, man.
Gonna go see the old Cincinnati Reds. Well, kind of in Maysville.
You're going to go way past Maysville. Brandon, refresh my memory, dude. I need to put your wedding in my calendar. When is that? If you don't feel like telling everybody, just text it to me. I'm sharing out this stuff right here.
October 20th. All right. Congratulations.
Oh, dude. I don't know that I'm going to be able to make it. Wait a minute. Is that a Friday? I guess I should pull my calendar up here.
I'm just proud that I knew how to share that.
That is a Friday. I will not be able to make it, man. I'm sorry. I will be going to Bridge Day that weekend, and I leave Thursday night. So I'm sorry about that. Send you guys my $3 I was going to give you in the mail here in the next few days, and we'll call it a day.
Well, you could send him a brand new Panorama in the mail.
I could, but I don't own one of those. So speaking of which, JR, what do you got for him?
So 6 Cents dropped the new bait called the Panorama. I am super impressed. Here is one of the new ones, Ghost. Let's see, Ghost Pro Shad. So the big thing for me is kind of figuring out how we're going to utilize this thing. It is incredibly narrow. Looks very much like a bait fish, minnow. This is the Gizzard Shad version, which to me, I mean, it just looks incredible. It is probably the most realistic bait I've ever seen. So it's something that I think we're all going to have to try to figure out how to utilize, which, I mean, the drop shot is kind of an easy thought to use it on. But these are going to be new baits, and I see they're coming out with some smaller sizes. So this is the 5-inch version. I actually did get a 6.5 too, which looks monstrous for our area. But I think they're going to put out some 4-inch ones too, which, you know, that'll probably be a better size for our area, to be completely honest.
Yeah, we were showing last week the 6 Cents video that's on Instagram. If you have Instagram, go out there and check it out if you missed it last week. It's basically talking about all the ways you can rig this thing. Let's face it, guys, they're a bait company. It's kind of like dog food, right? If you go to a vet and you say, how much should I be feeding my cat or dog? They're going to tell you about half of what's on the bag. And they always say, let's face it, guys, they're in the market. They're in the business of selling dog food. Same way with them, but they tell you that you can rig this thing in 100 different ways. Drop shot, shaky head. You could throw it on a belly weighted hook. There's like a million different things that you can do.
Oh yeah.
So, I don't know how I think if they make a 3-inch version of that thing eventually, I think it will be the ultimate drop shot bait.
Yeah. It's, any current is going to make that wiggle like crazy, but I'm thinking maybe, obviously Texas rig, maybe, Carolina rig as well. That might look pretty good dragging along the Carolina rig and looking like a dead bait fish just kind of roaming around there on the bottom. But
yep, it's if I could grab the right one here. Anyway, so that's a really cool bait. I can't wait to get my hands on some. I'm going to wait until the crazy mass runs out. The 2.0, 2.8, and 3.5 sizes. That
yeah, man,
a 2-inch version on a drop shot. Crazy. Yeah. I do think though, the longer they get, they're going to have more action. That 6.5 is going to look crazy. It's going to be because I guess I can use supple as a word here. The longer it is, the more supple that material is going to be.
Well, I think they had a 9 too, right? I think there was a 9.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Daggone monster. This is a clear water shad color, so I bought a couple of them just to kind of get an idea. I knew it was going to be a while before we could ever get them again, so I'd say it's going to be something that we're just going to have to get in when it's available.
Yeah,
Unless they want to sponsor us, so that'd be cool too.
kind of like Poison Ultimas.
Yeah. Or then you can get one and, order one, not get it.
Guys, if you guys don't know, Shimano released a Poison Ultima in July at ICAST. They didn't really release it. They released it to the United States market. It's been in the JDM market for quite a while. I've been trying to get my hands on one, but they are extremely expensive. They're also extremely hard to get in the JDM market because people are buying them up like crazy over there. But I ordered one July 15th, and it's looking like I'm not going to get it until mid-November. So it's pretty highly sought after, apparently.
Yeah, high demand, definitely. Yeah. There's the big boy, 6'5".
But it's not like extremely big, I don't think. Like I feel like that I could. You know what I think that would be dandy for is like pitching docks, like skipping a dock and letting it sink. It would be.
Oh, dude, this would skip like an absolute dream. Look at that big flat surface.
Yeah. So you could throw something. I mean, I don't know how you do it. Maybe a Nico rig in the front, like a Texas rig with a Nico weight on the front, so it drops down.
Yeah. Well, it's thin, so I mean, hook penetration would not be a big thing. It's just getting it to act right.
Yeah. So our show this evening is going to be talking about catching fish in the fall transition period and when that is and what baits that I use. I have a presentation here made for you guys. Teacher, PowerPoint just goes hand in hand. But if you guys want to hear, if you have a comment or question, definitely drop it in the comments below. We'll try to take a look at it. But why does fall fishing suck so bad for me? I don't know about you, JR, but I have a hard time catching fish in the fall transition period. It's actually my worst time. It's my favorite weather to fish in, but my least favorite time to fish until the water temperature gets down about 55 to 65 degrees. But it's really tough for me to catch them.
Yeah, I mean, I love the top water bite in fall. It's that tough time where you got to kind of catch it before the lake turns over, and sometimes after the turnover, it just turns the whole lake off.
Yeah. So let's talk about like the transition periods to start with. If you think about fall, in my opinion, like right now, last time I was at Grayson this past weekend, or I guess it was last weekend, and I saw water temperatures of about 80 degrees. So we're on that decline situation, especially in my area. Obviously, we're talking about Southern Ohio, Northern Kentucky area. If you're living somewhere like Alabama and you're watching this, your water temperature could still be in the 90s. It's hard to say. If you're north of us, if you're at Lake St. Clair, you could be in the 70s, 75 at this point. It just depends. So we're looking right now, again, at that 75 to 80 range. And this is where I feel like fish are going to be transitioning more into mouths of creeks, flats that are going to be close to mouths of creeks, and we're going to be definitely following bait fish from this time all the way on until the winter, in my opinion. So I feel like that we're in that transition period of early fall, going into mid fall of 65 to 75, in my opinion, and then late fall, which is 50 to 65. Now, after 50 degrees, I then become more confident in catching fish, which is weird. The water temperature from 35 to 50, I feel like I can catch more fish than I can in that 50 to 75 range. As JR mentioned a second ago, it's really big for top water. I'm going to show you guys some baits other than top water that I've used in the past that I like to catch fish on. But one of the keys to finding fish in the wintertime is actually making sure that you are keying in on the water temperature amongst other things. And you got to keep in mind that water doesn't change as quickly as air temperature. Like the other morning, I think last Wednesday or Tuesday or Wednesday, it was 50 degrees, 49 degrees when I got up to go to work. Now, does that mean that the fish are going to sense that? Who knows? I'm not a fish, but I would say that they feel the atmospheric pressure more than they would the feeling of it. The surface temperature of the water is going to be obviously cooling off faster. But it's kind of misleading for me to understand that just because it gets cold one night here doesn't mean it's going to change the water temperature that much.
Bigger the lake, longer it takes.
Yep. What's up, Mark? Hey, buddy. Thanks for joining in, man. And so getting into this, as far as that, you know, I have to think, to me, what am I doing wrong to where I can't catch fish, or why am I not catching these fish? Some of the baits that I like to throw in the winter or in the fall is going to be my favorite fall bait ever is a spinner bait. Quarter ounce. I've been throwing a lot of quarter ounce stuff. Again, you guys know that Greg Drown at the Tackle Box makes the best spinner bait on the planet, in my opinion. I think they're second to none. They're amazing for the price point. But we also know, as you guys have seen this in the past, I think we're going to lose Greg's spinner baits. Maybe not. He kind of like hinted the other day that he's going to try to build some, and it probably be like a custom made, custom order type deal where you call and order like 30 of them from him in the same collar, and he'll do it. But you know, spinner baits, that quarter ounce to 3/8 ounce, I rarely throw a half ounce. You know, I've been known to throw a 3/4 to a 1 ounce spinner bait, depending on how deep the water is. I threw a 1 ounce spinner bait all day one time at Lake St. Clair in the Detroit River, and I felt like I've been run over by a Mack truck by the end of the day.
I love slow rolling a half ounce. It's something that I've definitely had some success with even pretty much in the fall, actually. I know a lot of people have a lot of success on burning spinner baits. I think I catch a lot more fish when I'm slow rolling it, actually. I don't know if that's just in our area, but it's definitely effective for Yatesville at least.
Yeah, so that's the thing about it. Like, I like slow rolling a spinnerbait too, but there's also times, especially in the summer, where I will absolutely rip the blades off of that thing. I'm talking about reeling it as fast as I could possibly get it. White with some chartreuse occasionally. This is my favorite spinnerbait ever on the planet. I caught more fish over the last year of my life on this bait than I ever have in my life. Like, Kyle and I were having a conversation before that, you know, we haven't been on a really good spinnerbait bite in quite a while. Normally, fish eat the fire out of a spinnerbait, especially on the Ohio River. That's one of my favorite baits there. I just haven't been able to get on a fish bite or get on a pattern with these things. And this past year, well, I won't say even a year, since March, I caught so many fish this year on a quarter ounce white and chartreuse with 2 hammered willow blades from the Tackle Box. Don't go there to try to get any, because I've bought them all.
Yeah, I think I have a couple of those too. That was fun at Dale Hollow for sure.
Yeah, it was really good. So next thing, jerkbait. Jerkbait for me is in that transition period when I get later in the year. Like, I'm talking like 60 and lower. I hardly ever throw a jerkbait. You know, if you look at KVD or you ask him, I think I've never really asked him, but I can watch, you know, I have eyes and I can see exactly what he does. But that dude throws a jerkbait all the time. Like, I don't care if it's summer, winter, fall, spring, you name it, he's got a jerkbait tied on. And it all depends on how he's, you know, how he's retrieving that bait. A lot of times, you know, summertime, he's ripping that thing. He wants that thing to be very erratic, and he wants to get a reaction strike. But in the wintertime with this thing, especially when the water's getting colder, I like to think that I throw a jerk bait from 55 degrees. So when the water gets to 55 degrees, all the way until the water reaches 55 degrees on the other end when it's warming back up. It's a really good time for me. And in that really cold winter months, it's a really, really productive bait for me. And it's funny that I mentioned this 100 times on my show, but Mark Zona done a show. I think it was Mark Menendez and Zona or somebody. They were fishing a power plant fed lake somewhere, and there was snow all over the ground, and they were in this water temperature that was like 70 degrees all year round, and it was like steaming, and they were throwing a jerk bait, and they were jerking this bait, and they were sitting there waiting for it. And Zona said, how we're working this bait is jerk, check your email. So makes a lot of sense. Jackall Re-Range 110, 130, some of my favorite jerk baits on the planet. I think the new hot thing out there is the Megabass, right?
Yeah, I've got some of the Megabasses, and then Berkeley. I mean, those Hank Cherry design jerk baits are very nice. I've probably had more success with those than I have any other. I like the Re-Range a lot. The weight transfer system in the Re-Range is really nice. Definitely don't think you broke the tip of your rod, because it sounds exactly like when you break the tip of your rod when you cast that, because you hear the weight transfer. I think they have a tungsten weight in the actual jerk bait itself, and when that transfers, man, it sounds like your rod tip's breaking.
$55 to $60 water tip. Home Lake can have a 50 to 100 fish day on a red eye shad. That is awesome, man. We
Where's that
really,
lake?
man, we can take live minnows out where we fish and never catch 50 a day. That's awesome. Lake St. Clair is a place that we go, or I go all the time, that I feel like that you could do that all the time. The Rapala Shadow Rap Deep, I like it a lot for a deeper jerk bait. I like the way that it falls. The Shadow Rap Deep actually has two different versions of it. They have a slow sinking and they have a slow rising one. I like the slow sinking one. I was watching Mike Iaconelli there for a while, or on his show one day, and he was talking about how barometric pressure changes the way, or the whatever jerk bait he throws. And I'm going to screw this up, but one way or the other, I think he said if the pressure is really high, meaning that's bluebird skies, really high pressure day, he wants something that falls nose down. Whereas if it's overcast and a low pressure day, he likes it to fall tail down. Now, does that make a difference? I don't know. He's a pro and I'm not, so maybe it does. Nolan Lake.
Yeah, we'll have to make a trip there then for sure.
Yep. So Lipless Creek bait. Obviously, we talked about red eye shad there with Mark. Definitely a good bait. Jackall TN60. The TN50 is really nice too, which is a smaller version of it. The TN bait, which I'll show you a picture of in just a second, actually has tungsten beads in it, so it's a really loud bait, kind of like a Strike King red eye shad one knocker. But the TN60 has many of those shots in there, not just one big tungsten knocker.
It's more of a kind of a nose down fall too, because of the way that weight is put on the nose of that bait. I really like that bait as well.
Yep. So this is not a tackle box spinner bait because I don't have an actual high quality picture. This is a Terminator bait. Yep. But this I actually chose this bait because Greg at the tackle box makes one called the Goldie. He calls it Goldie. But it's a 1/4 ounce, basically the same setup as this with gold blades. Has a white or I don't know, it's kind of like an off-white or I don't know, it's not a tan, I don't know what you would call it, and a gold skirt on it. And talking about a fish catching machine on the river, if I'm fishing the Ohio River, I don't care if it's whatever time of year it is, if I'm not getting bit, I'm going to throw a spinner bait that looks similar to this, made by Greg Drown. So again, kind of have to look at some different things. I'm going to show you one of Picasso's baits here in just a few minutes that I think is going to be similar to this too. Again, white, gold, white, and chartreuse is obviously my favorite. And don't be afraid to throw that white and chartreuse one in places that, not uber clear water. If it's like gin clear, if you can see like 20 foot down, they're probably not going to eat it. But I've caught fish at Lake St. Clair on that thing, fish in 20 foot of water, throwing this a 1/4 ounce spinnerbait, right? And just letting it sink. But you're never getting it to the bottom. You're fishing at about mid column of the water if you're reeling it slowly. And I've just had fish just absolutely annihilate it. Had a buddy of mine, Dusty Smith, this past week. He's down at Gunnersville. I was throwing buzzbait that Greg Drown makes, a little squeak. Caught a 5.5 pounder, and it absolutely wrecked that buzzbait. Like it had it bent 5 ways to Sunday.
You can't beat that bite.
Here's a couple of the jerk baits I was talking about. The one on the left is the Re-Range 110. I'm not sure what that collar it is. I think it's called Bone or something. It's just a pure white one. It has a little bit of a yellow tint underneath its chin there. As Jared was talking about, the Re-Range 110 or the 130. The 130 is obviously bigger. But the Re-Range 110 is actually a little bit bigger than the Megabass 110, in my opinion. I think it's a little longer. Does have a little bit more weight to it, but I think that I can cast the Re-Range 110 farther than I can a Megabass jerkbait because of that weight transfer system that Jared was talking about. It just allows it to cast a lot farther. But if you've never casted one or been around one, I promise you, as he was talking about a second ago, it'll sound like either your rod broke or your line broke or you snapped something off. But you'll get used to it, and it does make a big difference. I still don't know how that thing can move back and forth in there like that without busting a bait.
Mm-hmm.
And the lure there on the right-hand side is the Shadow Rat Beat. They make two different versions of this thing. I'm going to mess this up, so I don't know what they are. It's not a 110. I think they call it a 7 or something. I like the smaller of the two. One of them is really big, like a 110, 115-ish. Another jerk bait that I've been throwing a lot lately is the Shimano World Minnow. I really like it a lot. The smallest it comes in, though, is a 115, which is kind of that happy medium. I have several of them, but the cool thing about the Shimano one, it has a thing called Flash Boost technology in it. It has basically a piece of tin foil or kind of metal in there that's shiny, and it's attached to two springs on it. So when you jerk the bait, and when it stays stationary, that foil is still moving inside that bait. So it looks like that bait is still moving, even though it's stationary.
Yeah, lots of drawing power.
Yeah, so it's something that, is going to be a staple for me. I think it's called Clown. I really like getting really dirty water. Let's see if I can find a picture of it real quick.
Yeah, I think that, a lot of the pros will say now, too, that the jerkbait is kind of becoming all year round bait now, as opposed to, what we've traditionally fished it as is something you fish in cold water, when it gets under 60 or, in the 50s, that's when you're going to be grabbing a jerkbait. But nowadays, especially with forward facing sonar, it's probably going to be utilized a lot more often.
Yep. So let's see here. Here is the Shimano World Minnow. This is one of my favorite collars. This is black silver. But what you can't see right here, obviously this thing won't move. It's on a web page, obviously, but this little thing that you're seeing right here that's silver, it's attached to a spring here and a spring here. So when this thing moves, that little piece of silver foil in there is still moving back and forth, and it's reflecting light. Kyle and I were at Lake Cumberland this past year fishing the Shimano Owners Tournament. I think it was in March or April, I think. And I threw this bait pretty much all day. Ended up catching, I caught 7 smallmouth on this bait. And if you have never been down there to Lake Cumberland, they have a 16-inch slot limit. I caught 7 smallmouth, and every single one of them were cookie cutters, and they were 15.5 inches long. I couldn't buy a 16-inch fish, but they were chewing this thing. Black and gold's a really cool color. I like it too. I'm going to see if I can find what I'm talking about. There it is, a Clown. I really like that in dark water. Or muddy water, sorry. Chartreuse head's a really cool one. Chartreuse shiner, pink smelt. Don't overlook a pink jerkbait, guys, especially if you're throwing for smallmouth. So that is the Shimano World Minnow. Obviously, these lipless crankbaits. Top one is a TN60. Again, that has a lot of tungsten beads in it. But another thing that I forgot to mention is this little thing on the front of this thing. It looks like a mouth is actually a tungsten weight. So it makes that bait fall more at a darting pace as opposed to just, fluttering down like the red eye shad there does. The Jackal TN60 Escape Crawl is one of the coolest collars I've seen. I'm going to see if I can find it.
Yeah, I think that's the thread fin one there. That's a good color too.
They have a scale minnow one that's absolutely phenomenal, and I've not really seen it too much. Here is the escape crawl and TN60. Really like it a lot. Spawn tiger right here. If I can get my screen to
Spawn tiger. What a name.
yeah, so these things are really like trying to find the one that was there it is, scale minnow. Look at that thing.
Yeah.
Dude, that's like I'm a firm believer baits catch more fishermen than they do fish, right? And that's why.
That's like this.
Yeah, exactly. For sure. So here is the thing I'm talking about. Let's make this full screen here so you can see it totally. This is a Picasso. I think this is called an Inviswire spinnerbait. It actually has brown wire on it, which I think is really cool. Maybe a gimmick, but it's something really cool. Sampo swivels, which is the exact same thing Greg Drown uses. Mustad hooks, again, same thing Greg Drown uses. One-piece solid tungsten head. So this is something that you're going to get with the Picasso stuff that you don't get in Greg's spinnerbaits, that you're going to get a smaller head profile with the same size head. So a 1/4 ounce on Greg's is going to be twice the size probably of the head on a 1/4 ounce for the Picasso stuff. Again, I really like the brown wire, and they call this Inviswire because it's a thinner wire, causing more vibration.
Jared wants to buy these in bulk, so that's
which one?
Probably Picasso.com.
Mark Hickey. What's up, buddy? Mark, obviously been talking about you lately, or talking to you lately. So just to give the word out preliminarily here, and this is kind of like, let's bring us all back in here so we can have this conversation while we're doing this. But so preliminarily, obviously, this is not in the works yet, but there is a great chance that myself, JR, and Mark Hickey, who owns Apex Fishing Apparel, are going to be doing a shirt drive here in the near future. Heart Awareness Month is February, correct?
Yep.
Heart Awareness Month is February, and we're trying to do something to potentially buy some AEDs for the area, whether that be sports teams or whether that be for nursing homes or just places that, one, are not fortunate enough to have these things. I thought they were, I mean, they're expensive. They're medical devices, but I thought they were way more expensive than they are. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're still expensive. They're $1,300 a piece. But this $1,300 could save a kid's life, and it's going to be all for a good cause. So keep your eyes out and your ears to the ground for that coming up. We're going to be doing a thing that's called Hooked at Heart. That's going to be the slogan or the motto of this shirt drive. And what it is that you'll pay a certain amount of money for the shirt. Apex Fishing Apparel here and Mark Hickey will be, I'll be helping design the shirt with, it'll have the On Another Line logo on it. What's up, Jack? And as well as KDMC and the Apex Fishing Apparel. But on the front of it, on where your heart is going to have an anatomical heart with an actual hook going through it. Again, the slogan Hooked at Heart. These things they're not going to be your average shirt. They're really nice quality. Mark makes really good stuff. But they're not going to be $5 a piece. You're probably going to be looking at $40+ a piece for these shirts. They're fishing shirts. But one thing that I can promise you is going to happen is that we are going to take half of the profits that's made from this shirt, and we're going to donate it to buy AEDs in the area, which is something that JR is really passionate about. I work with kids, obviously. I like Apex Fishing Apparel. I think it's going to be a big deal. So definitely keep your ears out for that. And again, that's going to be coming out very soon. And again, these shirts are going to be really nice shirts again, but the money that you're paying for these shirts are not going to be, this is not going in my pocket. This is not going in Mark's pocket. This is not, we've made a decision that this is Mark's business. So 50% of the profit he's going to keep. He has a business to run. Now the 50% that would have been, he offered to split with us 50-50. And that's not right for us because it's his business and he's nice enough to put our logos on there. But we are willing to take that 50% that we would get and donate that to try to make some money. So we're looking at buying potentially. Again, KDMC is kind of still there. They say that they're interested, and we're kind of in the negotiation phase of it right now. But potentially 500 of these T-shirts.
Yeah, and then for those of you who don't know, an AED is a device that anybody that has, Jared saying hi to you, Jack. Anybody that has a deadly arrhythmia, you attach this device to their chest, and basically it analyzes the cardiac rhythm that they have. And if it is a rhythm that will be shockable, and that it could save their life, it would automatically do that. And I mean, people, their lives are saved every day. The places that really benefit are, places that where people are active, certain disorders like hypertrophic cardiomyopathy or things that, you could save somebody's life with these AEDs, and really every large public area should have one. So it's something that we could, really make a difference.
Yeah, and another cool thing about it is that these AEDs, you don't have to be a cardiologist to use them. You put them on their chest, and it's smart enough to figure out the rhythm of the heart and all that stuff. So, another thing is, like, if you were like, you're worried about it and you think this is needed, you're not going to hurt somebody by attempting to use it, because the machine will not go off if it's, not needed. It's way smarter than I am, which is cool. I've been trained by, we have one at the school, which I'm really proud of. But we're going to be looking at, Mark, wait until tomorrow evening, man. I got to work tomorrow. I won't be able to answer the phone until probably 5:30 or something tomorrow evening. So when you get done with dinner or whatever, give me a shout. We'll talk it over. Like I said, I think it's going to be a big deal. KDMC, it seems like they're in. JR is in the negotiation phase with them. And the way that I think this is going to happen, and again, I'm putting words in a lot of people's mouths here, I think that KDMC potentially may buy all 500 shirts, and whatever money we can make back from that will then be donated to the AED. So I think that's how it's going to happen. I'm putting the cart before the horse here, but definitely look forward to that. We'll be talking about it on this show for the next couple months. And not for the next couple of months. I'd like to get this thing ball rolling in the next month or so. That way we can have everything ready and rocking and rolling by February. So back to the task at hand. This is a spinnerbait from Picasso that I'll be using as well as tackle box stuff. Hopefully Greg Drown, I can still grab that stuff for sure. Another thing here that I'm really excited about is going to be the Picasso Shock Blade. And this begs the question, how in the world is somebody able to make a new bait that is similar to Thou That Shall Not Be Named, aka the chatterbait or the jackhammer? Because if you don't know, Z-Man actually has a patent on that design, and they don't have a patent on having a blade in front of this. They have a patent on how the blade attaches to the head. Well, the thing about this is that they have their own way of attaching this thing to the head of it that doesn't infringe on the copyright of them. Obviously, I don't have anything to do with this bait. By the way, if you guys are just now joining us, the reason we're showing you some of this stuff is that we were accepted to the Picasso Pro staff there actually on Friday. Just want to announce it today. So we're going to be picking up some of these baits and giving our unbiased opinion. I'm the type of guy that I use baits that I really I like and I have confidence in. If the bait sucks, I'm just going to tell you. There are certain Shimano baits that I won't throw. I don't think they're that great, but there are some Shimano baits that I think are amazing. Just the way it goes. I don't think any company has 100% of all baits covered. But I really like this one right here. I like the head shape a lot. This Japanese-made modified O'Shaughnessy hook. I think that's, it's like quote-unquote game changer, right? Everything is a game changer anymore. Sticky Sharp. I bet it's Sticky Sharp if you want to ask a question. But anyway.
Absolutely.
But I like the collars that they have. There's a ton of them on there. One of the things that I've noticed about them is that they have literally a bait for any kind of thing that you want to do. Like they have a bait ball extreme we were just talking about before the show come on here that has like 8 swivels on it for baits, and then it has like 7 screw locks for just random baits, like just like soft plastic jerk baits or something to be tied on this thing. It's like it's crazy.
I like that. For those of you who don't know, the Aaron Martins designed a ton of Picasso boats before he passed away, and that guy's attention to detail was just unreal. So from his scroungers to all of the drop shot setups that he designed, I mean, the dude was incredible. So I think he had a hand in designing the majority of the Picasso baits. So, you know, I definitely have high expectations.
Yep, there's another guy, Lonnie Triplett, who is a professional guy down in Alabama. He's designing a bunch of their baits right now, the Shaky Vibe. I done a video on that this past winter talking about how I think it's going to be, you know, here it is, a game changer again. I think it's going to change the way you fish shaky heads, and I think that's true. They have a like a wacky vibe that's like a wacky rig with a blade bait on it. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you should probably check it out. They're really cool baits, and I have a review of it out on my YouTube channel. But I'm really excited to be partnering with them this year, and you're going to see a lot of reviews over their stuff. And again, I'm going to give you my 100% unbiased opinion, and you know, I'm going to tell you what I like and what I don't. And that's the deal. Like I want to keep everything real here with you guys. I want to make sure that you guys are spending your hard-earned money on stuff that you should be spending it on, that catch fish, and I feel confident in it. But that doesn't mean just because I don't feel confident in a bait that you won't go out and absolutely whack them on it.
Right bait, right time.
That's right. So what's everybody into? Anybody going fishing this weekend? Again, I would love to be, but I was so if any of you guys are looking for a really good tournament to get into this weekend and don't care to drive, the BFL down on Gunnersville, they're needing like 32 new co-anglers, and not new. They need 34 or 32 more co-anglers. They have 32 boaters more than they have co-anglers. So if you would sign up, you would be guaranteed to fish. If you don't know how BFL works, BFLs, you pay your money and you're put into a queue of people like me as a boater or me as a co-angler. I would pay my money, and if there are boaters available, it attaches me in there, and it allows me to then be, to be able to fish. They do have links where you can actually verify with somebody like me and Kyle link back and forth. He's a boater, I'm a co-angler. So when we sign up together, I'm guaranteed to fish. He's guaranteed to fish. But if you don't know anybody and you're not doing that verification, then you don't have that opportunity. But now you can go in there. Bullet Rally on Watts Bar. I saw that they just had an open down there this past weekend, I believe. I don't know, dude. Have you seen this guy on TikTok? This what is this? What is this guy? Little Riddle, I think's his name. He's like, it's crazy. He's big buddies with Alan Slick Johnson down there and all that Alabama Bass Council people. I'm sure it's probably all BS, man, but he is like calling out people on TikTok and trying to race them for $20,000. Oh, there we go. He's coming. It's all a good joke. That's cool, man. I enjoy watching it. He's got like a it looks like a duck boat, but it's a bullet. I think it's like a 20 XB or something, 250, 300 on. I think it's got a 300 on it, whatever. The Joker will fly, and he acts like he can outrun everybody, but he's wanting to pay. He's like talking about racing people for $20,000. Like, buy a lot of baits for 20 grand.
Is Rut Daniels going to be there too?
Well, this guy's an actual personality of his own. But I enjoy it. He's getting a pretty big following. Him and Slick down there, they've got a pretty good thing going. I saw that one of the guys, I think it was Slick Johnson the other day, weighed in 2 smallmouth. I want to think it was Pickwick down there. He had a 742 and a 767 in the same tournament. That's hammering on them, man. It's like, I was talking to the people at Stack Box today, Greg, and everybody when I was there trying to get the last baits, which, by the way, reminds me, got 19 people still watching. I can now officially say this because he's already announced it. And I don't know, I probably shouldn't say this because he's selling it way under MSRP. But if you're looking for a G Loomis NRX Plus rod right now, Greg Drown has like 67 of them still in stock. And he's selling those things for $450 plus tax. You're not going to beat that deal. They're all brand new. He has, again, 67 of them up there, so I can guarantee you're probably going to see what you want. There's a ton of casting rods and a few spinning rods. I don't think you're going to see like an 852 up there. Probably they sell out pretty quickly. He has a lot of 822s. There's some drop shot rods, 822 SYR, DYR, drop shot rod, shaky head rod. The 902, I think I saw some up there. 850 or 894, 893. You're not going to find a better deal.
That drop shot rod and the shaky head rod are both solid. I have both of those and absolutely love them.
Yeah. So one of the things that I will tell you going in there though, he will not take $1 less for him, nor should he. That's a steal of a deal. That's 30% off of MSRP. MSRP is $650. So right now the whole store is 20% off. You're not going to go in there and see that for $450 and get another 20% off that. That just doesn't work. But $450, man, you're getting $200 off one of the most high quality rods on the planet with a limited lifetime warranty, which is tough to beat. If it wasn't for the warranty, I believe I would have a lot of Shimano rods only. I like Shimano Poison Adrenas. I like that stuff. But right now I'm transferring all my rods from the Shimano line to the Loomis line because, for example, JR and I was fishing at Lake St. Clair this year, and I had an NRX Plus, and I was fighting a fish, and the thing broke. And it was no questions asked. I called them, said, hey, here's the deal. I was fighting a fish. The tip broke on this rod. They asked me when I bought it and where I bought it, and I told them that I was part of the pro staff and where I got it, and they were like, okay, here is I had to ship it back. It cost me like $18, which, by the way, guys, total tangent here, but if you're going to ship a rod anywhere, do not use UPS or USPS strictly. I found out the other day there's a website called Shippo, like Hippo with an S, Shippo. It usually is about $70 to ship a rod anywhere in the United States. I shipped one from here all the way to Washington State for $18 in a rod tube and everything. But I shipped it out there 2 weeks later. It wasn't even 2 weeks later. It was a week later. I had a brand new rod in a rod tube, and they sent it back to me, no questions asked, which was amazing stuff. If I'd have done that to a Shimano rod, I would have been out. Or they do have what's known as the express service, which is 50% of the rod's value. So, for example, if I bought one of the Poison Ultimas, they're like $879 is the MSRP. So you're looking at almost $900. But if you were going to replace that rod with the Express, which, by the way, it's $900 and only has a 1-year warranty on it still, which blows my mind. But you could buy a new one with the Express for $450. Shots fired.
Yeah, we gotta go up to Indiana and fish with Jared. He's up there catching some donkeys in his little pond that he keeps showing me.
Yeah, man, I'm in. I've already checked Indiana off my list, but we could go, I guess, west of there and hit Illinois. Yeah, Illinois.
It's very, very nice.
Yep. Anyway, guys, we're about that 50-minute mark. You know how that goes. We're going to wrap it up for this evening. If you guys have any questions, drop them below. If you have not went out and subscribed to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/onanotherline, I'd appreciate it more than you ever know. You know, I will dance at the weddings that I'm at unless it's Brandon Buckner, and I won't be there. So sorry about that. Anyway, I appreciate you guys tuning in. It's been a really cool episode. I hope you guys catch more fish in the fall than I do. But look for more content to be coming out from me on the YouTube channel, as well as adding JR to the staff here at On Another Line. We're going to try to kind of double this thing up. I do have a new video coming out tomorrow at 8 a.m. Of a tournament that I fished back in August at Cave Run Lake with Brandon Buckner and those guys. Smallest 5-fish limit I've ever weighed in my life. 5 fish, less than 3 pounds.
Hey.
Cave Run has a weird slot limit. You can keep fish any like 0 inches to 12 inches. There's a slot between 12 and 15 which you can't keep, and then you can keep 15 or over. So normally what happens is you get people that have 5 unders and they win a tournament. Well, not this day. Apparently they were biting. Justin Baldridge and his partner ended up catching an over. I think they had like 5 pounds in 5 fish and caught one over 15 inches. So that should tell you it was a really tough day. Cave Run, it's a really tough place to fish, but I did catch some fish. The cool thing about it, you're going to see on that video, use my graphs and my online prowess here to find a flat that I thought would hold fish, pulled up on it about midday and started catching them on that flat, which was really, really a cool deal. Well, try, Brandon. I appreciate it. So anyway, you guys know the routine. 51 minutes into the show, we are going to hop off here and have I'm probably going to have a bowl of chili. I already had one bowl this evening, but you can't just have one bowl of chili. You got to have multiple bowls of chili. Misty's out of town. She's at the beach having a girls' trip, so I have to fend for myself. So I made chili that I can eat for the entire week. Man life.
Mm-hmm. Solid plan.
Yep. It was weird, though. It was like $25 to make chili. Such a weird world we're living in.
No doubt.
But anyway, we are proud to say again, forgot to post this earlier. This episode brought to you by Picasso Lures. Check them out at PicassoOutdoors.com. Use the code. Don't use a code because I don't have one. But
Gotcha.
Yeah, close. I'll have one soon. I'll let you guys know it. But obviously, the people that do help us out here in the background, people that go without saying, obviously, Shimano and G-Loomis helped me out. Odyssey Battery is something that may or may not be on the way out. Odyssey Battery has chosen not to help pro staffers much anymore due to the high cost of lead in their batteries, which I get. So I might be looking for a new battery company to support here on the channel, looking at lithiums. And there's a potential. I have talks with a company here that I potentially may be offering my own line of lithium batteries soon. It's a load of money. Every lithium battery on the planet's made in China. So if you buy an Ionic or you buy a I don't know, like a Tracker Marine, which by the way is crap. Don't buy one of those things. But Ionic or there's 100 different companies out there. They're all coming from China. They're just being shipped here, made differently. But we're looking at that. That may not come into fruition, but it may be. Solar Bat sunglasses, again, they keep me out there on the water. I have a pair of Solar Bat sunglasses that I've pretty much worn every day of my life this entire year. I can't wait to show you guys those things at the end of this year because I have absolutely destroyed a pair of sunglasses. They have taken what I can throw at them, and if I can take care of them or if they take care of me doing what I do almost on a daily basis, they'll take care of you too. JB's Fish Sauce, if you go over there to jbsfishsauce.com, use the code OALL20, it'll save you 20% off of that pinch O garlic. You already know. Greg Drown, obviously, at the tackle box, you're going to need to go over there very soon. 20% off on the whole store. $650 rods for $450 in tax. So get there, be there or be square. So it's really, really cool deal. So look for a lot more content to come out here. Got a new video coming out tomorrow talking about a cave run tournament. Again, smallest 5 bass of my life. So without further ado, we'll see you guys around. If you guys can get out there and lean on them, we'll see you next time on another line.